In this video, we are going to revise biology, which is locomotion or skeleton and locomotion, and the last question from genetics. So the question is saying figure 4.0 shows muscles and bones of the forearm of a human being. So we have bone S, which is called the scapula, right? So bone S is called the scapula. And then as for the muscle T, it is called the triceps. Then as for muscle R, it is called the biceps. Then we also have bone U, which is called the ulna. So ulna is longer than the radius, so we have the ulna. Yeah. So the first one, which is question A, is saying identify Roman numeral number 1, muscle T. So as for muscle T, it is called the tricep or triceps. Then as for bone U, it is called the ulna. So to differentiate between ulna and radius, you are going to look at the sizes. So as you can see here, ulna is longer than the radius. So on top here we are having the radius. So ulna is longer than the radius. Right. Then as for question B, Roman numeral 1 is saying, what name is given to the pair of muscles T and R? So the pair of this muscle, it is called the antagonistic muscles. So antagonistic muscles, these are muscles which act opposite to each other, which means when one contracts, the other one is going to relax. Those are antagonistic muscles. Then as for Roman numeral number 2 is saying, name one other such pair of muscles in the human body. So we have the circular and the longitudinal muscles from the esophagus. Okay, so in the esophagus, you are going to find that there peristalsis occurs, right? Peristalsis occurs, which is the alternate contraction of the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles as the food bolus moves toward the alimentary canal. So that is for Roman numeral number 2. Then as for question C, it is saying label on figure 4.0 where you find here Roman numeral 1 tendon. So on this part here, we have two things. We have tendon, right? So you have tendon and ligament. So we have tendon and we also have ligament. Now, tendon attaches the muscle to the bone, right? Tendon attaches the muscle to the bone. So it is at this point here. That is where now we are going to find tendon. So tendon is found here, where now the muscle, which is T, attaches to the bone, which is the radius, right? So muscle R, it is called the biceps or bicep. So it attaches itself to the radius. That's for the tendon. Then as for the ligament, this one here attaches bone to bone, right? So if here we are having the muscle, we are having the bone like this one and also another bone like this one. The ligament is just going to touch itself bone to bone like this one here, right? Bone to bone. And this one is muscle to a bone. For tendon, it's muscle to a bone. Now, when we talk of ligaments, we can find the ligaments at this point here, where we are going to find that the muscles are going to attach to the bone, bone to bone, right? Then as for the pivot joint, it is at this point here. So at this point here, that is when we are going to find the pivot joint. So pivot joint, that is where we are going to find the pivot joint. Then as for question D, it is saying give two ways in which the skeletal muscles of an insect differ from the skeletal muscles of a human being. So the first difference is that for the muscles in human beings, they are located outside the body of the skeleton, right? The muscles, they are located outside the body of the skeleton, whereas as for the insect, the muscles are located inside the skeleton, which means the skeleton is located outside the muscles. Then apart from that one, you can also differentiate them as where the attachment of the muscles. So the muscles, they attach themselves to the skeleton outside, right? The muscles, they attach themselves to the skeleton outside, which is for the insect. Then as for the human being, the muscles attaches themselves inside the skeleton. So the skeleton, as for human beings, it is located inside. Okay. Then as for question A, it is saying identify the bone labeled S. So bone labeled S here, it is called the scapula. So it is called the scapula. That's bone S. Then as for the last one, which is genetics, it is saying two farmers, one with pure breeding, black bull. So a black bull, it is a male cattle. Now when they talk about the pure breeding, which is the black bull, so which means this one is going to exist as homozygous dominant, right? Homozygous dominant. And the other with a pure breeding white cow. So cow is just a female cattle. So even here we are having pure breeding white cow. So which means even here, this one is going to exist as homozygous dominant. So decided to cross their cattle. The black bull was crossed with the white cattle. Let me just say the white cow. And so the black bull was crossed with the white cow, and all the resulting offspring had a coat color called roan. Right. So these they were dominant to each other. And here they are saying use letter B for the RU for the black coat. Then as for the W, which is capital W, to represent the RU for the white coat color. Now, which means as for the black bull, since this one is a pure breeding, which means it is going to exist as homozygous dominant. So we are going to have BB, which is capital B and capital B for the black bull. So this one is a black bull. Then as for the white cow, we are going to have capital W and also capital W for the white cow. Now, the question which is Roman numeral number 1 is saying, show the genotype of the offspring. Show the genotype of the offspring. So to show this one here, since this one is the black bull, which is the pure breeding black bull, and this one is the white pure breeding cow. So let's try to cross them and find out what offspring we are going to have. So in this case here we have B, then W and W. So this one is just a rough sketch. You're not even supposed to do this, but this one is just an explanation to show you what is happening here, alright? Of course, here you're supposed to indicate the phenotype, then you say black and so on. But as for me, since this one, we're not supposed to draw the genetic diagram, so I'm just going to go dilate, right? So when I split the gametes, even this one, even this one, even this one, we are going to find that this one is going to be WB or BW. Then the next one is going to be BW. Even the next one is going to be BW. Then the last one is going to be BW. Now this BW, it is called the lone column or the lone coat column, right? So this one is the genotype now of the offsprings, right? So our answer here, it is just BW as the genotype of the all offsprings. Since here they are saying all resulting offsprings at a coat color called lone, and all these offsprings, they are having a coat color which is called lone. Right, so the next one is saying, which is Roman numeral number 2, is saying, explain why either, let me say, explain why neither the bull nor the cow at their coat color expressed in the phenotype of the offspring. So the first answer here is going to be both they exist homozygously dominant. Both they exist homozygous dominant. So both they exist homozygous dominant. Then apart from that one, we can just say they are codominants to each other. So we are saying they are codominants to each other. So when you say codominants to each other, which means they have equal expression in the phenotype, right? That's equal codominance to each other. So they have equal, they have codominance, they are codominants to each other, or they exist homozygous dominant to each other. So that's for Roman numeral number 2. Then the last one is saying, use a genetic diagram. Predict the chances of the second filler. So the first one here, the first filler was like this. So this one was the first filler. They produced the offsprings which were having the lone coat color, right? Or the color which is called roan. Now in this case here, they are saying the second filler. Now, so we are saying the second filler offsprings, the second filler offspring having a lone coat color when the parent black bull was closed with one of the lone offspring. So in this case here we have two things. We have the offspring, which is called the lone, and the black bull, right? So the first thing here we are just going to start with the phenotype, right? So phenotype. So we're just going to start with the phenotype. So as for the phenotype, here we are having the black bull. Being crossed with the lone offspring. Then from there now, the next one is going to be the genotype. So as for the genotype, we use the symbols, or we use the alleles. So the black bull was a pure breeding black bull, which is capital B. Then as for the lone offspring, it was having B and W. Then from there now, we are going to split the gametes. So here we need to have the gametes. So this one is going to be here, then this one is going to be here, then this one is going to be here, and this one is going to be here. So that's splitting the gametes. So the first one we are going to have BB, which is the black bull. Then the next one we are going to have W, then it's a BW, which is the round coat color. Then the next one is going to be BB. Then the last one is going to be BW. Now, as you can see, when you talk of the chances, you need to find the probability or the percentage. So we're just going to say this one is going to be the second, which is F2 genotype. So this one is called the F2 genotype, like that. Then the last one is going to be F2. So F2 phenotype. F2 phenotype. So this one here is going to be the black bull, right? So this one is going to be black, and this one here is going to be roan. This one here is going to be black. Then this one here is going to be roan. So in this case here we have our main roans. We have 2, we have 1 and 2. So we have 2 roans. What about black? We have 1 and 2. Now here they are just asking us to find the chance of having the roan coat color. Right, so since here we have 2 roan coat color, then we are going to divide by the number of offsprings that we have. So in this case here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 offsprings here. So I'm just going to divide by 4, multiply by 100% in this case. So in this case here the final answer is going to have, we are going to have the final answer as 50%. So the chance of having the roan coat color offsprings, it is 50%. So that is how we answer this question. So that was the last one. Thanks for watching.